Welcome back to my Self-Love with Sarah podcast. We are making goodness attractive. And today on the second episode, we have Francesca here with us.
Hi, everyone.
So we have Francesca here. She actually works for SaGrah Beauty. She runs the show there. But we're here to talk about her transition in her career and, you know, how hard that might have been and why you wanted to do it. So let's talk a little bit about let's talk about you. Let's talk about before you started SaGrah and everything else.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Francesca. Back in February, I was kind of having some mixed emotions about teaching. And one of my co-workers, she actually followed you and sent me your Instagram, and you were looking for a personal assistant. And I just was like, F it, let me reach out. Like, I thought you were some influencer in LA. Like, I was like, I don't know. Let me do some like side work for this girl. And we were just like voice noting back and forth, like right away,
right?
And it just like felt good, connected.
Yeah.
And then I was working for you like on the side, kind of doing some social media stuff and along while teaching. And yeah. And then I just decided at the end of the year, like no more toxic work environment.
You were ready to take the leap.
Ready to take the leap. Yeah.
Why don't you tell everybody how, your family life, your home life, a little bit about your background in general, what you always wanted to do when you were a girl.
Yeah. So I have 3-year-old twins, Alina and Daniel. I'm married. I'm from 845. So I'm from around here. I live on the other side of the river. I've always wanted to be a teacher, like my whole life, but I felt like they didn't really make a lot of money. So that kind of like path steered me into another direction in college.
Right. What did you do? What was the direction?
Psychology.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Well, at first it was diagnostic imaging. Like I wanted to do ultrasounds for babies. And then that just took a whole nother turn. And then I was like, I still want to help people. I don't know what. Let me do psychology. Maybe I'll be a psychologist.
All those things are definitely helping people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just realized that like after graduating, there wasn't many like things I could do unless I went back to school. So I wanted to make sure that like I wanted to go back to school for something I loved and enjoyed. And that was education.
Right.
Yeah.
School, college. I mean, my views on going to college is totally different. Mm-hmm. And I think we can touch on that. I think that's such an incredible topic to touch on, especially today and age. I mean, it's like, you can either be an entrepreneur or you can go to college and
go to trade school.
And I think it's an amazing thing that you went to college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously that's tough. Many years of sacrificing, not really getting paid for what you're doing, unless you're obviously working in something that you don't even want to do.
Right.
And then almost going into, with your college degree, definitely helps SaGrah and everything that you've known and learned. I mean, it definitely has come together.
Right.
But now you're trying to get into like the other side of the world, the entrepreneurial life, the trade,
right.
Which, by the way, she does makeup at the salon for us. So I had no idea when I hired her that she was an incredible makeup artist. Blown away.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. She also helps me with management at Angels. And again, I hired her to be my personal assistant, which
much more than that.
Thank God. I needed you so much. You have no idea. But I think that's just such a great topic from going to the corporate America, right? That's schooling,
I guess,
right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
corporate.
Yeah. To, a base salary, to a career where you're going to get a retirement and all that.
Yeah.
To now the entrepreneur side of the lifestyle, which people just don't understand. People don't get it. I had people struggle understanding what I was doing. I didn't go to college and, I don't have a retirement I have to put into these things to have all these things. And I think that's just such a brave thing to do, an incredible topic to talk on because
not many people know about it.
Right.
Yeah. So I obviously had a stable career and was teaching for 6 years. I taught preschool. I worked in the city. I commuted there for 2 years. And
were you living
up here and
then,
commuting.
So where'd you take the train?
No, I drove
my God.
to the Bronx every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to get my foot in the door. You know, everyone says that you're not going to make it into a school up here unless you get experience down there. So I was like, that's what I'm supposed to do. But before that, like growing up, my mom was a single mom and she always was like, you need to go to school, get a good job, get a retirement, like make good money. Like
that's what we were taught. Right.
Her parents are from Italy, so they were immigrants here, and that was just the way to do things, I guess, to them. But things are evolving and things have changed so much. And another side of me, I've always put on hold, like the makeup side and
the creative side,
because I was like so focused on building a career that I thought I had to stay with forever. But now like diving into this entrepreneur life and multiple businesses and streams of income, it's a lot to learn, but it's also doable. And learning from you that you're a successful businesswoman, like anyone can do it if you just hustle and grind and put in the work.
You know, it's so hard. It's so much sacrificing. And again, no one understands it. People are going to be rolling their eyes at you. They're going to be telling you, oh, maybe you shouldn't have done that. And I think it's just so powerful that, you know, that you are able to just have that faith, have that belief in yourself and know that you can do it. Like seeing you put up that post the other day of seeing you still tapping into your career with your
like tutoring.
Yeah. I thought that was amazing. And that's like, I was just like, ching, light bulb, because that's what I do.
Right.
That's how I am successful, because I don't take just being a hairstylist and just being a hairstylist.
Right.
You know what I mean? I take that one, you know, that one thing and then do so many things with it, you know? And that just goes to anything. Like, okay, you left your teaching career, but now you can be a tutor and you can make your own hours and you can, you know, have that.
Make more money than I was teaching.
Right. Yeah. And then the makeup thing, you know? So I think that it's just so hard and it's just so natural for people to not understand the entrepreneur side of things. And that, it's just like when you're going to college, right? It's just like when someone's going to college and they're trying to build their career and they are poor during that time.
Right.
Well, when you're opening up your own business and starting your own entrepreneurial life, you're going to be poor. You're going to have to sacrifice.
Right.
So,
and success doesn't come overnight. You have to like work for it and work hard for it. And like I've done so many makeup gigs for free for friends just because I wanted a portfolio to build before I'm going to start, you know, charging.
Correct. 3 to 5 years, they say.
Yeah.
I believe it's a little bit longer than that. I think it definitely is. So what's the difference whether it's 3 to 7 years and you're going to college and you're poor?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the same.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So if anybody's, you know, in your ear, I want to tell you that I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Seriously. It's no joke.
Yeah.
No. It's no joke. There's no off switch.
And I feel like a lot of people don't take chances on teachers. They don't know that teachers actually have so many skills beyond just
the creativity, the way you guys can work the classroom, the way, I mean, my cousin's a teacher. I have a lot of teachers in my family. I have actually a lot of teacher clientele. Yeah, a lot of clientele. And to see the creativity of the, you know, the things that you guys do to create, especially for like the little kids, it's so cute.
It's
you know
so
what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you can bring that side into this side of the world, you're going to do so good.
Yeah. And I love working with children. That's also obviously why I became a teacher. So being a tutor and doing that on the side as well.
Yeah. An hour with with one kid and getting paid more than you would maybe for the day.
Yeah.
In a whole classroom.
Yeah. Crazy.
People need to expand their minds. So I want to just remind you again to just not listen and just
thank you.
You got this.
Thank you for taking a leap on a teacher. A leap of faith.
It wasn't even the teacher. It was you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that said, let's talk about why we're really here. You know, why you really left the school systems and what if you feel in your heart that you were being shifted in a direction that you just don't believe in, the shift in the school systems and everything that's going on in this world.
Yeah, this world's crazy.
Yeah.
I think my realization with teaching definitely happened a couple years ago when you're leading a whole classroom, but you're not technically allowed to lead them. Like you're being micromanaged in so many ways without the support from like administration or your principal. You're being told like what you can do, what not to do. And I'm the one in charge of like their
12 kids or whatever.
26.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, in the city it was more, but like I had a co-teacher, and this past year I was by myself and had 25 kids alone. I was in general education classroom, and I had kids with autism in my class. I had kids with learning disabilities in my class, and begged and begged and begged for support for these kids and never got it. And so that obviously took a toll. So yeah, so not getting the support you need for those kids with high needs was so hard. And after begging, I just knew that like this wasn't something that I should have to beg for, and every kid's education should be the most important.
So what do you mean that they were just kind of putting it on the back burner? Or they just weren't believing what you were saying?
Yeah. So there was a lot of like data that you needed to show, oh, Johnny couldn't read at this level. And so when parents would try and push for special education, you know, I would be told by like some people to lie about certain things, or like, I don't know. I feel like after COVID, everyone's education of learning because of virtual learning kind of like went downhill. And some kids really suffered from that, and they should be getting more supports, but there's not enough people to be given the supports. And then that falls on the school system, and they don't have the money or the budget to, you know, hire the people or get the curriculum that these kids need. So everything just falls back on the teacher. And then
it's like, you just have to pretend like you don't care.
Yeah. And that's not who I am. Like I would die for each one of those kids. And I fought tooth and nail for whatever I thought that they needed. And I ended up spending a shit ton of money each year on curriculum that I bought or created, or supplies that my classroom needed for these kids with needs, and spent like so much money that the school should be giving to you.
Right.
They should be budgeting in their budget for. And, you know, I'm begging people every year, creating Amazon wish lists, like, please buy me a beanbag chair so the kid who can't sit still can sit in a freaking beanbag chair while I take. Yeah. So it's been a lot and stressful.
For sure.
As one person.
Right. So this was this down in the city? This is when that was happening, or you've been up here too?
No, up here too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The city is a whole different ball game. I can only
imagine.
I'm not even going to get into that. But, you know, everyone always says like, oh, up here it'll be better, you know, in the Hudson Valley. But the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And while I did love like my coworkers and teaching the kids, the best part was the relationships with them and their families. And I'm still close to them now. It's just something that like caused me so much anxiety and stress that like I was not like the best version of myself at home. I wasn't the best mother. I felt like I had to put my kids on the back burner because I'm like, what can I do to make 26 other kids, you know, succeed? And
they're like your babies.
Yeah. So it was a lot, but I just think I was like ready to move on from that and take a leap into something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about what's going on in the school systems as far as, you know, the toxic and what they're trying to put into our children's brains and stuff? Do you see a lot of that in your school?
Yeah, my school is very left, I feel. Not all parents are, not all teachers and educators are, but I feel like that was being pushed heavily. And I don't care what gender you are, who you love, what, like, personally, that doesn't affect me, but don't try to push it on kids who can't even make a decision about anything yet.
What's the age group of children?
So I was teaching fourth grade, 9, 10 years old.
Yeah. Coming into themselves. I feel like the 9, 10-year-olds are it's like a really sensitive, touchy time for them.
It really is.
They're going into 5th grade. Mm-hmm. They're becoming like, I don't know, like little adults at this point. They really are just finding themselves. This is a super strong time, I feel like. I remember when I was in fourth grade, 9 years old, that's when my parents got divorced. You know what I mean? So like, I remember, you just know, you understand things more. You just kind of know what's going, you know, so it's in a very confusing time as well.
Very confusing. A lot of them, like I had 3 girls who got their periods this year and like hadn't teach them how to use like a pad for the first time, like at school. And so
God, could you imagine?
I'm like yelling from the bathroom, like, open the wing, took it under, like left the whole class. And
I
it's
think
just
I was like 6th or 7th grade when I got mine.
no, it's girls are getting it earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
And then it's like things like putting tampons in the boys' bathrooms in the middle school. And then it's like, why? Or like the whole kitty litter thing for kids who are furries or whatever the frig they are. I don't know. Like that to me is just like, let parents be like, what happened to parents being the ones to guide and teach their kids? Yeah. Like everything doesn't have to revolve on the school system being the ones to teach your kids about literally everything in life.
Right.
Like I'm here to teach you what 4 times 3 is, not what gender you are.
Mm-hmm.
So that is also like another huge issue that I think a lot of schools are going through, and parents are trying to navigate, and teachers, and you don't want to say the wrong thing because you could be fired over,
that's a whole another thing. Like what we say, I mean, like the Merry Christmas,
can't do
the
that
Pledge
anymore.
Allegiance,
Yep.
all these things are just being taken away from us, and
it's kind of weird.
Sick.
Yeah. I remember.
Do they do the Pledge Allegiance in school anymore?
Yeah. So we do. Okay. But some kids don't stand for the pledge. Some kids didn't remove their hats or put their hand over their heart, just like things that show respect to our country. And like, I've tried teaching that, like, oh, this is the reason why people do it. But then again, I'm like, I don't want to get in trouble for that. Like, and then I remember our superintendent, after the whole thing with like George Floyd, like she would leave off the like last part of the Pledge of Allegiance, like justice for all. So she would say the whole thing except justice for all. And like in the community.
That gives me chills.
No, I know. And because there was not justice for all. So like there's just like you can't pick and choose what side you're on, especially as a leader of a community. Like, right. And she, I don't know. I don't want to get into it. I'm going to get sued over it. But yeah. Cheers.
Almost for a lot of people in their career right now, whether it's a nurse or, like teachers, but like, like people were having to choose like what, be based off of. And that's so scary based off of what's going on in this world and being forced to do things that they don't believe in. And then it's like,
oh yeah,
me, I am such a black and white person. I'm such a right is right. No, wrong is wrong.
Right.
And like, you're not going to make me do anything that I don't believe in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like when I saw people in their, careers having to do things with COVID shots and stuff, and you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. It's like, it's so hard to see somebody and like you staying in your job because this is your career. This is your livelihood. You have twins, like the whole 9, your retirement, like, and then just like pretending that you're okay with this, like morally that would kill me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like cheating on your husband and acting like everything's right. Yeah. It's just like morally, how do you live with yourself?
Right. Luckily, for some grace of God reason, I was able to test weekly at school. So I didn't have to get the shot, but my husband did because he's a nurse. And now it just goes to show like we, the ones who stood strong, paid out in the end. I mean, so many people I know who, I don't know if it's related, but like have been getting diagnosed with cancer or having fertility issues. And I'm like,
And honestly, that goes back to me being like on the entrepreneurial side and being so proud that I was able to be in this lifestyle in my career, make these choices and be like, I never got it either.
Right.
And like it didn't happen.
No.
Okay. And just seeing people on the other side for being forced, my heart was breaking. You know what I mean? And like
all the nurses who had to leave their jobs and like, how are they providing for their families?
Well, you know what? They're going to be getting big lawsuits.
As they should.
So. And then, I know so many nurses that left their job. I mean, it's devastating.
It's so sad. I mean? Yeah, especially when we needed them the most.
Right.
Like they were heroes for a portion of time. We were heroes, and now we're getting the blame for everything. So it's like, make up your mind. Like, I'm too freaking tired to deal with this.
I am so proud that you, from right from wrong, from that black and white standpoint, like just, choosing like what you really believe in. That's tremendous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so important, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's hard, like, going about your everyday life. Like, I spent more time at work, obviously, than I did at home, and like not being able to be authentically who you are because you're scared of getting fired, or you're nervous what your coworkers are going to say, or go back and tell, your administration. And it's like, no one should have to live their life that way and being like nervous about who they are.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There was just a lot that went into it that I was like, I can no longer take this anymore. Like, I need to leave or things are going to like go dark.
Well, I think even when I met you back in February to now, you're a totally different person. I mean, you're just taking care of yourself, which, it's so hard too. Like I take care, like every aspect, and people can be like, oh, how does she do that? She's like, no, it's so important to really pour into you. And I've seen such a change in who you are, and even your appearance and everything, your weight, like just everything, the whole package, you know what I mean? Which it doesn't matter what you looked gorgeous in February, but I just see a difference in you, and you're a smile on your face at all times. So yeah,
it's hard. Being a teacher, there's no flexibility with like your hours. You have to be there at a certain time. The kids come at a certain time. And if you weren't getting up early in the morning to go work out, or go work out right after work and then go get your kids, but then your kids are in daycare longer, it was kind of like a weird, there's like toss, no flexibility. And then you're so exhausted that like we took all our work home too, grading papers, it's lesson planning.
It's not a shut off at 4 or 5.
No, you're always
getting paid for that.
No, but they expect you to. And that was another thing too, is each year my paycheck went up maybe like $200, but my superintendent was getting 30,000 for who knows what. And like, we're doing the brunt of the work in the classroom. And I don't know, like there was no other way to make more money while teaching because it consumed my whole life. So I was kind of like stuck, and I knew that like I wanted to be financially free someday. And like, while teaching is a stable job and I have a retirement, I would only be making what they told me I would be making each year. There was no promotions or bonuses or stuff like that. Yeah.
So then my next question with all that said would be like, what advice would you give somebody that is in a pickle between careers or taking that leap of faith into a transition of something completely different, becoming an entrepreneur? Yeah.
The best advice I would say is it's okay to be selfish for yourself at some point and to do what's going to make you the most happy. I think life's too short to be doing things that you don't enjoy or just being happy. And, I put myself on hold for so long because, I got pregnant, I had the kids, they consumed my life for the first 3 years. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, oh, I can take a step back and like do something for me, like going to the chiropractor or working out or, just making myself feel good. And then I'll feel good for everyone else. Like I'll make our family feel good. The kids can see that I'm happier, like with them more. So being selfish is okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's
I'll
important.
Be the first one to agree with you on that because I'm not selfish of just about the things that I need to get done for myself. Like literally. And every day is accounted for every single day. There's no days I can lay around and but the days that I do have the free time, I'm doing those things that make me feel good,
right.
Whether it's Saturday or Sunday or any of my days off, you know what I mean? Like you got to do those things for sure.
And I felt like with teaching, I kind of was masking those like things by like going on antidepressants and like, oh, those are going to help me like get through, which they did. And I'll be the first person to say like,
I was going to bring that up, but I didn't know. Like, let's talk about how you're not.
I'm not on them any longer. I've been off of them probably for 3 months now. And I've just felt like so clear headed and
that's huge.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I couldn't have done it without you. I remember like coming into the salon like after school and you're like, I'm going to help you get off of those.
I said that.
You
And
literally
she didn't
said
even, we didn't even talk about
no.
much. It wasn't like, I was like, I'm telling you, you're going to be off of those things.
Yeah.
Because I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And listen, I do believe that people do, you know.
Need them. If
Yeah,
they,
of course.
Yeah.
But I think there's other ways.
Mhm.
I think your mental health is definitely created by other things and that we don't need medicine.
Right.
Bottom line.
Right. And I will be the first person to like, I'll be the spokesperson for Prozac. Like after having twins, it saved my life from like postpartum anxiety and depression and dealing with the like toxic school energy. But I knew I didn't want to be on it forever. And
right. I mean, I can go on it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Clouded my judgment. And now that like
making you numb
to life, like had no emotions,
like,
didn't care about
hello,
anything.
Will you ever cry? Never.
I was like, I cry over everything.
Yeah.
And now I can't stop crying.
Yeah. It's well good. That's crying is good.
Yeah, no. Definitely being off has been great. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So the next thing I want to ask you is like, how is your husband feeling about this career change, and how is like mom life and with the career change, and how are you navigating all of this?
Yeah. So I think in the beginning, my husband was kind of skeptical. You know, he comes from a family who, again, like you have to go to college, you have to have a good, stable career. And I think entrepreneurship or making such a huge change that you dedicated so much time and money to, like student loan wise, like is hard for anyone to realize that. But I just know that like deep down, I keep telling him like, just watch, it's going to be beneficial. Trust me. Like I'm going to be making more money. Like I promise it'll all be worth it. And right now I feel like he doesn't see the bigger picture, but I'm trying like each day to show him that like, oh, it is worth it. Look at all that I'm doing. And then mom life has been so much better because I've been able to spend more time with the kids or pick them up, take them places. And I think that was one of the main goals why I wanted to switch careers, was just to be able to spend more time with them and take them on field trips and not have to pay more than our mortgage on daycare. Yeah. And send them to
be able to be there for everything.
Right.
Almost everything.
Right. Like my mom, she had to work full time, and
same.
And my grandparents basically like raised us and was with us all the time. And while like I want my kids to be with their grandparents, I also want them to be like, oh, mommy was there for me too, you know? So, and I think they're going to realize that once they get older, and that I'm doing everything for them. I'm not doing it just for me. Like,
yeah. Like I struggle with that. Like, I can't be there for everything, but I'm starting to really prioritize like the family life and everything. But yeah, I mean, our babies are going to know how hard we work, and they're going to know when we're not there, we're working hard, but we're creating a life that, we're giving them an amazing life. And I want to piggyback off of, your husband and just anybody that's like, I said it earlier and I'll say it now. It's just, it's try to not internalize it too much. You know what I mean? And then just try to keep, prying away at it. It'll come. Everyone will something. I hate to say this, but it's the truth. Your family and your friends, maybe your friends, I don't know, but usually your family is like not as supportive. They're the ones that worry more and put that negative energy into your brain just because they love you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
they don't want to see you fail.
They don't want to see you fail, but like keep your comments to yourself, like, and just trust me. Right. That's it. Just trust me.
Right.
I mean, if they want to say something when you're just laying around doing nothing,
right.
And one, but they, you see me grinding, you see me trying. Yeah, maybe I'm poor right now.
Right.
But again, it's all going to work out and it's all going to be so much better.
Yeah. And I don't do anything out of like malintent. Like, I'm not like, I'm going to quit teaching to fuck over my family. Like, I want to have like a legacy or something to leave behind for them, whether it's a business or just fun, money. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like teaching too, like there is nothing.
It's just I feel like in my personal, like here it is for me.
Yeah.
And this podcast is about you, not
it's about us.
It's about us. It's just, there's so many different ways to make money, to make an additional income. When you're at a career where you're tapped out or a salary base, or you can make a little bit more, but not much more. You hit a plateau. Then what? You know what I mean? So it's just like when we have that ability to have that financial freedom, that's goals.
Right.
7 streams of income is what they say is like key.
Well, that's what I was trying to tell like people who weren't supportive of like my move to like being your assistant is millionaires don't just have one corporate job where they're making millions of dollars. No. They have businesses, real estate, investments, assets. Yeah. Like I want to have that eventually.
And you will.
And you know, like I just turned 31. I feel like I learned a lot in my 20s, but now it's like time to like work even harder and level up. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, like I'm still young. I'm not like an old fart. And I think that me feeling so burnt out teaching, like how could I do that till I was 65, like an old granny coming in teaching 26 kids? Like I don't think I would make it. Maybe I have one more year left in me for teaching. Right. But that would have been it too. So.
Well, I want to tell you that I was 7.5 years ago. Yeah. I was 31 years old. Your age when I opened up Angels.
Okay. That's crazy.
So you got this.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. You've been nothing but supportive. So
I didn't start this when I was in my 20s. This hasn't been like my whole life. I was later in my life, you know, and look where I'm at, where I'm at now. So
I think people are just afraid to fail. And teaching didn't give me like that opportunity. Like I never was going to fail. Like I always had a job and I knew what I had to do, but like, I know there's more to me. Like you ever feel like there's more to you? Like,
I have more to give.
More to give. And I'm like, okay, if I fail, I failed trying.
Right.
And people are going to see that. And hopefully I can inspire other people to want to do what they love.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I love that. All right. We're going to end it with a little self-care question. What do you do? What is your version of self-care? What do you do? What does that look like for you?
Oh gosh. I think for me, it's definitely...
It doesn't have to be huge and extravagant. No. Like one little thing, I swear, can change the world.
I think my faith. I've always been like religious and, Catholic, but I think finding a relationship with God has really like showed me that like there's someone on my side that I can do anything. So just trying to spend time with him and ask him questions. I get my nails done, I get my hair done, makes me look good, feel good. But like, I think spending time with God has been most important. And I've never had like the relationship I have with him now that I did back then. And with him on my side, I feel like anything's possible.
You're gonna make me cry. Stop it. That's why she's my girl. I love that. Yeah. Truly, that's so important. And I feel like you nailed that question because like self-care and self-love or all of it can look like nails, hair, and
external things.
Yeah, external things. That's numero uno,
And just finding who you are. Yeah. Like for so long, I'm like, who am I? Like someone would ask me like, what's your favorite TV show? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I like, what I don't like. And so I think
like, I don't watch TV.
Yeah. Like finding a relationship with God is helping me navigate like what I want in life and what I don't. So
love it.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Well, I want to thank you for joining this episode.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I'm so stinking proud of you.
I love you.
Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't checked out SaGrahBeauty.com, you can go check us out there and our products. This is the one that's going to be shipping it to you with love. So we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.